Hey everyone, how's it going? I am MisterBo, and in today's Crash Team Rumble video, we're going to be talking about game modes. Now we know the main gameplay loop for Rumble. You, on a team of 4, with a character that you pick that has unique abilities and skills, have to run around the map collecting Wumpa Fruit to then score back in your own base. There's going to be additional things in there. For instance, we believe collecting relics allows you to summon different items. Obviously, there's the challenge of defending the enemy team's base so they can't score their Wumpa Fruit, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff in between that we just don't know yet. But when it comes to online multiplayer games, more ways to play is always better. So I put together a list of game modes that I think would work really well based on what we know so far that Rumble is. Before we dive into that, let me just get you up to speed if you have been living under a rock and you aren't entirely sure what the gameplay loop of Crash Team Rumble is. So this comes from CrashBandicoot.com, and it says, Crash Team Rumble is a 4v4 team-based competition where the iconic heroes and villains of the Crash universe battle to capture more Wumpa Fruit than the other to claim victory. Each hero has unique skills and abilities to strategically use to work together to battle the opposing team, defend their own Wumpa Bank, and capture key points around the map to help their team. If you've ever played a game called Bleeding Edge, this should all sound pretty familiar to you. So with that down, let's dive into different game modes that I think would work really well in Crash Team Rumble. The first set of ideas are all variations on the default collecting Wumpa Fruit game mode. Firstly, we could see a free-for-all version. 8 individual players all running around, all trying to catch a Wumpa Fruit on their own and deliver it back to their own base whilst worrying about 7 other people. It could be pure chaos. But then you could do a variation where maybe you and a teammate are against 3 other teams, so 4 teams of 2. So it's not always just 4v4. I think that could be a fun element to shake up things. Now, a mode that I think would be really fun to see in this game is an elimination style mode. Elimination style modes have been super popular in a bunch of games. Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville, Destiny 2 with Trials of Osiris, Halo's recently added one in, and of course you've got the classic Call of Duty Search and Destroy. But having an elimination style mode in Rumble would be really cool. Either your team has a set amount of lives, and if you get knocked out, you lose a life, or you literally have 1 life, and once you've been knocked out, you're down unless maybe your teammate revives you. An elimination type mode would definitely bring more competitiveness, and that is something I want to see in this game. A full competitive ranking system with maybe its main mode being something like an elimination style game mode. So moving away from the collecting Wumpa Fruit style game modes, because I think we're going to have some variation here. We've got these multiplayer maps, we've got these characters, we could definitely see some other kind of game modes than just collecting Wumpa Fruit. And I've got a few different suggestions. Firstly, a capture the flag style mode. This could be split up into 2 different things, neutral flag or 2 flag. 2 flag, you each have a flag on your base, and the other team needs to come along, pick it up and score it at their base. Or neutral flag is where there's just 1 flag in the middle of the map and you're fighting for control to then bring it back to your own base. If they want to make it a bit more exciting than just capturing a flag, they could make it capturing Aku Aku or Uka Uka, and when you pick him up, he gives you some kind of ability that maybe helps you get to your base a little bit easier, meaning the other team then has to work for it. A CTF mode I think could work really well in what we've seen so far. Another game mode I think would work really nicely in this is a pass the bomb style mode, or maybe capture the Golden Wumpa Fruit style mode. We'll go with capture the Golden Wumpa Fruit just for this example, but the Golden Wumpa Fruit spawns somewhere on the map. You as a team need to go find it, pick it up, and hold onto it for as long as you can. Maybe there's a certain time limit of like 1 minute total that you need to hold onto this thing for, but if you get hit by an enemy team, you drop that and they can come along and pick it up. And it's this back and forth tug of war of seeing who can hold onto the Golden Wumpa Fruit for the longest. You could also do a variation of that where instead of a Golden Wumpa Fruit, maybe it's a bomb and you're trying to pass this on to other people so you don't blow up. Again, there's a lot of different things they could do here. And then the other final idea I had for a game mode is a King of the Hill / hardpoint style mode in this. We know there are going to be zones to capture in the normal regular gameplay. Well, maybe spin that into its own mode. If you're not familiar with either of these 2 game modes, basically a point spawns somewhere on the map. You and your team need to go into that point and hold it down for as long as possible until the point rotates to somewhere else on the map. The team to either have the most time on the hill or to be able to capture the most hills then wins. And I think with all the different abilities we have here, with the fact that we already know we're going to be able to capture certain zones in the regular play, something like this could work really nicely. Now, these are just a few ideas that I've had based on what we've seen in other arena-style multiplayer games that I think would work really nicely in the Crash Bandicoot format. Of course, I'd love to know in the comments below, what kind of variations of gameplay do you want to see in Crash Team Rumble? I know a lot of people were a little bit upset this wasn't a Crash Bash remake and are hoping that we're going to be seeing mini games from Crash Bash make it into Crash Team Rumble, but I just don't see that happening based on what this game is. I think when it comes to other ideas for what we could see in this game, you've got to base it on what we know this game's got in it. Characters with different abilities and multiplayer maps. Elements like a flag to capture or a bomb or Golden Wumpa fruit to pick up is probably a little bit easier to implement than a whole mini game from another kind of game that this isn't. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about my ideas for additional game modes in Crash Team Rumble. Who knows, maybe some of these will actually come to fruition, or let me know in the comments below what kind of game modes you want to see in Crash Team Rumble when it launches sometime in 2023. As we learn more about this game, it may become a little bit clearer as to what kind of stuff we're getting in this game, so I may do an updated video once we do have more details about what Rumble is all about. Apart from that though, if you did enjoy this video, click that like button, subscribe for more Crash Team Rumble content and coverage. Thanks very much for watching and for hanging out with me, I do super appreciate it. Hopefully I'll catch you around, but until then, as always, make sure you take care. Cheers.